So to start any talk about gender bending, we have to talk about what gender is. And gender is more than whether you have a set of breasts or a set of balls. Gender is about those differences, how they're evaluated, classified, and then assigned roles and characteristics. One of those characteristics is clothing. In traditional current Western culture, men wear trousers, women wear skirts. Now, there's a historical component there. There was a time when men wearing wigs, makeup, and high heels was perfectly acceptable. There are also geographic and cultural exceptions as well. In Scotland, for instance, you're likely to see someone in a kilt. Samoan men wear lava lava. But why do we care about how men dress and what it means in terms of the arts? Well, typically, arts, music, theater, etc., they express current acceptable social practices, and that includes gender roles. What's the big deal about a guy in a dress? Well, it depends. Why is he in the dress? It's often used as a comedic element or a plot device in theater and movies. When we talk about a plot device, we're talking about something that's substantive. For instance, Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire has to dress as a woman in order to see his children, but it also can be used as a subgenre element. The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is a good example of that. But let's also talk about what's funny about a guy in a dress. Do we all agree that a guy in a dress can be funny? It's because it transgresses social taboos. It makes something that is uncomfortable comfortable. Funny is less threatening. But why is it a social taboo? Well, let's think about it. Women in New Zealand didn't have the right to vote until 1893. Women in the United States didn't have the right to vote until 1920. Femininity has often been compared to delicacy. Here's a good example. The police in Bangkok last year initiated a new program. Any police officer committing a small infraction was required to wear a hot pink Hello Kitty armband. The purpose was to instill shame and horror because it was an emblem of a young girl and not of a macho police officer. But now surely gender bending is new and it's cutting edge. Not really. Shakespeare used it quite extensively. His comedy, Twelfth Night, not only used it as a plot device, but a comedic device as well. And transgenderism was alive and well in opera. La Calisto, which premiered in 1652, had as a primary element the idea of gender bending. A primary character, a male, really fell in love with this girl, so he impersonated another woman so that he could get with her. Rossini in 1828, his premiere of La Cantorie, also included that element. A count dressed as a nun seduced his page boy, who he thought was a woman but was actually a man. 100 years later, we have Victor Victoria. It's the reverse. Now we have a woman dressing as a man. But she's still using gender in an effort to get what it is she needs and wants that she's not able to do as a woman. Is this a double standard? Not really, because women dressing as men continues to reinforce the dominance of a male society, or the enduring patriarchy. It's subversive, but it's not culturally transgressive. And when you look at La Calisto and Victor Victoria and movies and operas in the same genre, what they share is that the fluidity of gender allows characters to get what they want or need. And it also allows the characters and allows the audience to interpret something that would otherwise be very uncomfortable. But gender bending in theater doesn't promote gender bending in real life. Instead, again, it reinforces a patriarchal society. And again, it allows us to experience something that would otherwise be uncomfortable. Now, there are a few movies and operas and plays that have looked at the realities of gender issues. Normal is a good one. 2003 dealt with a transsexual male and his transition into a woman. But why do we have this enduring acceptance of gender bending in the theater? I don't know, maybe guys want their own tiaras after all. But it could also be because, again, it makes something uncomfortable comfortable. It allows us to play with gender in a way that is safe. It's like trying on a dress without having to buy it. Now, Wagner believed that there was no gender in sexual activity, that it was completely obliterated, and he used that a lot in his operas. And so what we're left with is that it's still okay for a man to play a woman, but it's not yet okay for a woman to play a man, or for a man to be a woman, sorry. but hopefully it will someday be acceptable. Thank you.